Welcome everyone. We were discussing the structure of megasporangium. Megasporangium, which is nothing but, which we commonly call it as ovule. So this is the structure of ovule. Ovule is attached here. Ovule is attached to this ovary with the help of a structure called as placenta. Ovule is attached to the ovary with the help of a cushion-like structure which is called as placenta. Girls, remember this one? In the previous class, I have explained you about the structure of this ovule itself. You just see it, what I have said. Here, this ovule is attached to this ovary with the help of, that is, for example, this is the ovary. Okay, and this is the ovarian cavity. Inside this ovarian cavity, here or somewhere a tissue will be present. Here the sponge like structure will be present. This is called as placenta. This is called as placenta. So with the help of this placenta, here on this placenta a stalk like structure is present, is attached here, and this will be a ovule. This will be the ovule. So this ovule is attached to this placenta. Ovule is attached to this ovary with the help of this placenta and this stalk like structure which is called as funicle. I don't know what word I have said, but here it might be slip of tongue, but you just remember this one, that if this ovule is attached to this ovary, okay, inside the ovary a cushion like structure is present which is called as placenta. The structure is called as placenta. What I have said that in the previous video, you just go through it. If it is another word, don't use it. Here this placenta, the ovule is attached to this ovary with the help of the that is on this, with the help of this placenta. We call this structure as the placenta, and this stalk like structure which is attached to this placenta, this stalk like structure is called as funicle. The stalk like structure is called as the funicle. The place where this funicle and this ovule fuses, the place where this funicle and this ovule fuses, so this place is called as hilum. This place is called as hilum. Okay, and here this ovary is covered by two membranes. Ovary is covered by two membranes. This is the outer membrane and this is the inner membrane. Okay, so we can even call it as outer integument or interinteguments. We can say ovule is covered by two integuments or two membranes or two layers. So that is why this type of ovule which is covered by two layers, bilayered ovule, that is ovule which is covered by two layers, this is called as bitegmic ovule. Bitegmic ovule, that is covered by two layers. Okay, and there are some plants, for example here in Helianthus and in Datura we find only one integument, the ovule. So this whole ovule will be having only one integument. Here outer and inner is present. Now their outer and inner will not be present, only one integument will be present. Okay, so here in this we are finding two, this is one and this is two layers are present. This is bitegmic, but in Helianthus and in the Datura plant we find only one layer which is covering the ovule. So that type, that is, if a ovule has only one layer covering it, one integument covering it, such type of ovule is called as unitegmic, that is covered by only one layer. Uni means one, single. Okay, tegmic is one integument. The whole, that is ovule, will be covered by only one integument. So that is why it is unitegmic. So this unitegmic ovule will be seen in plants like Helianthus, Datura. These are the common examples. And here Loranthus, it is a plant where ovule is not covered by integuments. There won't be any integuments, not even one. So no integuments will be surrounding the ovary. Where do we find such type of ovary? That is ovule, where it is not enclosed by layers. The example is Loranthus. In Loranthus, ovule is not covered by any membrane or any integument. So here no integuments are present on the ovule in Loranthus. And in Helianthus and Datura, these two are the common examples where only one integument is covering the ovule. Rest in monocots, in almost all the monocots, and in polypetalous plants. What do you mean by polypetalous? Petalous means petals. Polypetalous means petals will be free in all the plants where petals are free. In all the plants where petals are free, not fused with each other. Not fused with each other. So in all those plants where petals are free and in monocots. So we find bitegmic ovule, that is the ovule will be covered by 2 layers. Ovule will be covered by 2 layers. Okay. Now inside this, enclosed in this integuments, this is the outer integument, this is the inner integument, okay, and this is the basal end, which is called as callazal. This is the basal end of the ovule, which is called as collaza, okay, and here a small opening is present in between these 2 integuments. In between these 2 integuments, a small opening is present. This opening is called as micropyle. The opening is called as micropyle. Now here coming to this, in this enclosed in this 2 integuments, here this is outer, this is inner, enclosed in these 2 integuments, here in this area nucellus tissue will be present. In this area nucellus tissue will be present, that is many cells will be present, which, so this is, it won't be like this. For your understanding, I am putting these dots here. This one, this is the outer integument, this is the inner integument. So enclosed in between these integuments, here few cells will be present. Here few cells will be present. Those cells are called, or the tissue, this group of cells together is called as what tissue? Nucellus tissue. Nucellus tissue, okay. Nucellus is the tissue which is enclosed in between these 2 layers. Nucellus is the tissue which is enclosed in between these 2 layers, and placenta is a tissue which is a cushion like tissue which is helping in attachment of ovule to the ovary. Don't get confused between these two. So correct it if it is there wrong in the video. Correct it. Placenta is the tissue which is connecting the ovule with the ovary. Okay, and nucellus is the tissue which is present or which is enclosed in between 2 integuments. Nucellus is the tissue which is enclosed in between these 2 integuments, and inside this tissue many cells are present which are called as nucellar cells or nucellus cells, and these cells are rich in, these nucellus cells have abundant reserve food material. Nucellus cells have abundant reserve food material. So these cells are the nucellus cells. This whole together is the tissue which is enclosed in between these 2 integuments, and these cells are rich in reserve food material. Okay, and inside this nucellus we find this embryo sac. Inside this nucellus, embryo sac is present. This embryo sac is the female gametophyte. This embryo sac is the female gametophyte. Inside this female gametophyte, female gamete will be present. So 7 cells, here 3 cells will be present. Okay, and here 3 cells will be present, here 2 cells. So this is the embryo sac. Embryo sac will be present in the inside this nucellus. Embryo sac will be present. Okay, so this is the embryo sac. Inside this embryo sac, female gametophyte, that is egg, will be present. This embryo sac is the female gametophyte, and inside this female gametophyte, female gamete will be produced. Female gamete will be produced. This nucellar cells, that is many nucellar cells will be present. So out of those many nucellar cells, one cell will undergo, that is one cell which is called as megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell. Inside this nucellus tissue, that is many cells are present. Out of that many cells, one cell which is called as megaspore mother cell, it will undergo reduction division. Megaspore mother cell will undergo reduction division and it produces embryo sac. It produces embryo sac. So out of these many cells, one cell will undergo reduction division. Because of that reduction division, here and later on many changes will take place and this embryo sac will be formed. This embryo sac will be formed, which is nothing but the female gametophyte. Which is nothing but female gametophyte, and in this female gametophyte, female gamete will be produced. Female gamete will be produced. So this is the structure of ovule. This is the structure of ovule. This ovule is attached to this placenta with the help of a stalk-like structure. The stalk-like structure is called as funicle, and the place where funicle and this ovule fuses, both of them fuses, this structure, this part is called as the hilum. Hilum is the place where ovule and funicle fuses. This is the stalk and this is the ovule. Okay, the stalk fuses with this ovule. So this place where the fusion is taking place, this location is called as the hilus. Two integuments will be there, bitegmic, and inside this, enclosed in this integuments, nucellus tissue will be present. The cells of nucellus will be filled with reserve food materials. Okay, out of that many nucellar cells, that is one cell will undergo reduction division and it produces the female gametophyte, which is called as embryo sac, and inside this embryo sac, female gamete, that is egg, will be produced. How this whole process will take place, we will see in detail. How this nucellus will undergo, that is cell of nucellus will undergo reduction division, how this that is female gametophyte is formed, and how inside this female gametophyte, how female gamete is formed. We will see in the process of megasporogenesis. We will see in the process of megasporogenesis. But before we go to this process of megasporogenesis, we will see the different types of ovules. Here in the textbook, it is given 3 types of ovules are given. The first one is orthotropous ovule. Orthotropous ovule. Here in this type of ovule, now all these 3 structures, that is micropyle, chalaza and funicle. All the 3 structures, micropyle, chalaza and funicle. If I draw this, this is the if this is the funicle. This is the funicle. This is the micropyle. Okay. This is the micropyle, this is the ovule, and this is the funicle. This is the basal end, that is the chalaza end, because if this is the micropylar end, this will be your chalaza end. So here this is the micropyle, this is the basal, that is chalaza end, and this is the funicle. All 3 of them, that is micropyle, chalaza and funicle. Micropyle M, this is the chalaza, and this is the funicle. All 3 of them, micropyle, chalaza and funicle, all 3 of them are here, are on the same vertical line. All 3 of them are on the same vertical line. So this type of ovule is called as orthotropous ovule. This type of ovule is called as orthotropous ovule. In orthotropous ovule, this micropyle, chalaza and funicle, all of them will lie on the same vertical plane. All of them will lie on the same vertical plane. So this type of ovule is called as orthotropous ovule. Okay, the next one is anatropous ovule. This is like this na. Here in this anatropous ovule, it will be inverted. The ovule will be inverted. For example, you see this one, this structure. If I draw like this, so this is this will be a funicle. This will be the funicle. Here will be your micropyle and this will be your chalaza. It is just inverted of this one. Here chalaza is at the base, funicle, chalaza and micropyle. Here you just invert this. Invert this one. So chalaza will be at the top, that is top, and this is the micropyle. And just at 180 degrees of micropyle, we find this funicle. At 180 degrees, this micropyle and funicle are near. Micropyle and funicle are near. This is the chalazae end. Micropyle and funicle are close to each other and this is the chalazae end. So here I said you micropyle and funicle are close to each other and they take 180 curve. 180 curve. So such type of ovule where micropyle and funicle are close to each other and this funicle will take 180 curve. Okay, and here it will be the chalaza, just inverted of this one. You just don't take this one. Funicle, chalaza is at the base, micropyle is at the top here. Here chalaza is at the top, micropyle is at the base. So you just invert this one. So this inverted orthotropous ovule with the funicle lying very close to micropyle. Inverted orthotropous ovule where funicle lies close to micropyle. So such type of ovule is called as anatropous ovule. Here in orthotropous funicle was here on the same line, but here in this the funicle is here just beside this micropyle. The funicle is just beside this micropyle. So if you see this in the textbook, you will see the clear pictures. It is given on the inside the textbook. You will be able to understand it. So here 3 types of ovules are given. In the first type, that is orthotropous, all these 3 micropyle, funicle and chalaza, all of them are on the same vertical line. Okay, and this in anatropous ovule, here it is basically inverted orthotropous ovule and a little difference here is this micropyle lies close to the funicle taking 180 degree curve. So this type of ovule is called as anatropous ovule and the third is campylotropous ovule. For example, if this is funicle, the ovule is present at the right angle. The ovule is present at the right angle. See this one. This is right angle will be this and this. This is the right angle. The ovule, that is the body of the ovule, is present at the right angle to the funicle. This is the funicle and this is the body of the ovule. This body of the ovule is at right angle to the funicle. So this type of ovule where the body, that is the well ovule, that is the body of the ovule, instead of ovule I will write body of ovule, is placed at right angle to funiculus or funicle. So that type of ovule is called as Campylotropous ovule. So we see Campylotropous ovule in bean family. In bean family we see Campylotropous type of ovule. In sunflower, in Asteraceae family we find Anatropous ovule. We find Anatropous ovule, and this Orthotropous ovule is found in commonly, that is Polygonum. Polygonum is the plant where we find this Orthotropous ovule. Okay, sunflower is a plant where we find this Anatropous ovule, and the beans, the bean family will show Campylotropous ovule. So these are the different types of ovules. Just the structure of the ovule will be the same, but how it is placed. If all the three, that is funicle, micropyle and chalaza, are on the same vertical line, then it is called as orthotropous. The same here, the inverted orthotropous ovule with the funicle lying just very close to the micropyle at 180 degree angle, then it is anatropous. And Campylotropous, funicle and the body of ovule. If this is the funicle, the body of the ovule will be at right angle. At right angle. If you see the clear picture in your textbook, you will be able to see clearly the three different types of ovules. So this was all about the here megasporangium, which is nothing but ovule. Inside the megasporangium, female gametophyte will be formed, and inside the female gametophyte, female gamete will form. So how female gametophyte will be formed, how megasporogenesis will take place, we will see in the next video.